The silent language of attraction. Most men completely underestimate the power of physical touch. They treat a hug like a polite handshake, a basic, forgettable social custom meant to say hello or goodbye. When they greet a woman, they go through the motions without a single second thought, completely unaware that they are throwing away one of the most potent psychological triggers available to them. They have absolutely no idea that within a brief 2-second window of physical contact lies a hidden lever for deep emotional connection. A standard, polite embrace says absolutely nothing to a woman's deeper instincts. It is white noise in a world full of standard social interactions. But physical touch is never just a neutral gesture. It is a highly sophisticated, nonverbal conversation that completely bypasses her logical mind and speaks directly to her biological hardwiring. When you know how to execute an embrace using specific subconscious cues, you stop playing the game of casual friendliness and start communicating on a primal wavelength. You aren't just saying hello, you are changing her emotional state. This exact shift is how you build an intense magnetic attraction, faster than words ever could, establishing an undeniable presence before you even finish speaking your first sentence. You are about to master the secret principles that transform a routine, everyday greeting into an unforgettable, almost addictive sensory imprint on her entire nervous system. The single biggest mistake you can make in human interaction is believing that touch is just touch. In reality, a woman's brain is an incredibly sophisticated radar system, constantly scanning her environment for signals of strength, safety, comfort, or weakness. The moment you step into her personal space and initiate physical contact, her nervous system goes into overdrive, actively translating the exact amount of pressure you apply, the confidence of your movement, and the placement of your hands. She isn't thinking about this logically. Her subconscious mind is instantly decoding those physical variables into visceral feelings of either total security or subtle anxiety. If your touch is tentative, awkward, or rushed, her brain labels you as a safe, predictable platonic friend, or worse, a man who is insecure in his own skin. This brings us to the first foundational rule of attraction: the anchoring palm. To understand how this works, you have to look at what the average guy does wrong. Most men instinctively place their hands high up on a woman's upper back or give her a couple of light, polite pats. While they think they are being respectful, they are actually using the universal vocabulary of friendship. A high back pat is what you do when you comfort a coworker or greet an old buddy. It communicates emotional distance and a subtle fear of real intimacy. It signals that you are playing it safe because you are afraid of crossing a line. If you want to signal an undeniable masculine presence, you must completely rewrite this script. The powerful move is to completely ignore the upper back and instead anchor your palm firmly on her lower back, positioned just above the tailbone. This is not a random romanticized zone chosen for aesthetic reasons. It is a highly responsive neurological hotspot. Biologically, the lower spine and pelvic region are deeply linked to a human being's core stability, balance, and survival instincts. When your hand rests there with calm, unwavering assurance, it acts as a physical anchor. It completely bypasses her conscious critique, her social defenses, and any overthinking she might be doing in that moment. It sends a direct, unfiltered signal straight to her primitive brain that you are confident, grounded, and entirely comfortable being close to her. By claiming that specific space with intentional, steady warmth, you project an aura of absolute security. Without you saying a single word, her nervous system receives the message that you are a man who can hold space for her, both literally and figuratively. You become a steady anchor in a chaotic environment, instantly elevating you from just another face in the crowd to an irresistible source of comfort and strength. The power of absolute presence. Once your hand is securely anchored, you move directly into the second foundational rule of attraction: unwavering containment. This is the exact moment where your internal intention meets the physical reality of the embrace. The biggest mistake an untrained man makes here is pulling back his upper body or leaving a wide, awkward gap between their frames. A loose, hesitant hug instantly broadcasts a profound sense of insecurity. It physically communicates to her that you are uncomfortable in your own skin, unsure of your welcome, and practically begging for permission to be in her personal space. A woman can feel that hesitation down to her bones, and it immediately triggers an emotional defense mechanism. To break out of that platonic zone, your embrace must become a confident enclosure. You need to use a firm, entirely consistent pressure that wraps smoothly around her entire torso. This does not mean you squeeze her aggressively or try to crush her ribs. Rather, it means you project a sense of absolute solidity and structure. For those brief, critical seconds, she should feel entirely enveloped by your physical frame. When a man provides this level of calm, unwavering boundaries, a woman's survival instincts relax. She feels an immediate sense of refuge within your strength, as if the outside world has been temporarily locked out. In a modern society where true masculine groundedness is incredibly hard to find, the feeling of being genuinely held and protected is an exceptionally rare luxury. The moment you give her that sensation, her biology rewards you by triggering an immediate, powerful subconscious attachment, anchoring her focus entirely on you. This leads us directly into the third rule, which acts as the invisible engine for this entire interaction: alchemical duration. If pressure is the body language, timing is your silent chemist. Anyone can share a brief 2-second embrace, but a standard 2-second hug is nothing more than a mechanical social greeting. It leaves no emotional footprint. The real psychological transformation occurs in a very specific window of time, specifically between seconds 5 and 7. This is the exact chronological threshold where the human brain transitions from a state of polite alertness to a state of deep chemical trust, triggering a significant release of oxytocin, the primary hormone responsible for human bonding, safety, and deep emotional attachment. The problem is that the average man completely panics during this window. Because he lacks core confidence, he starts overthinking around the 3-second mark, fearing that he is overstaying his welcome or making things awkward. To protect his own ego, he abruptly breaks the contact and pulls away. What he doesn't realize is that this sudden anxiety is highly contagious. His nervous system passes that tension directly to hers, ruining the moment and leaving her feeling emotionally disconnected. To master this secret, you must possess the self-discipline to hold the embrace through that full, deliberate 5 to 7-second count. You must breathe through your nose, relax your own shoulders, and remain completely still and present. This intentional pause creates a beautiful, suspended moment in time. It provides just enough space for her nervous system to mirror yours, allowing her to let go of her guard and fully settle into the connection. As the seconds tick by, the chaotic background noise of the room completely fades away. Her breathing naturally slows down, synchronizing with the steady rhythm of your own chest, and her body physically melts into the safety of your hold. This exact psychological pause is where a casual, everyday greeting completely transforms into a profound, unforgettable moment of genuine intimacy, the phantom echo of desire. This brings us to the ultimate climax of the interaction, the absolute masterstroke that separates the amateurs from the masters, the lingering signature. Most men completely ruin a great interaction because they do not know how to finish it. They view the end of a hug as a simple disconnection, so they abruptly pull their bodies away, break eye contact, and instantly destroy all the tension they just spent seconds building. You must understand that the release is not just a mechanical ending. It is your final punctuation mark. It is the lasting impression that dictates exactly how she will remember you for the rest of the day. You must never, under any circumstances, just snap back into reality or awkwardly drop your arms. Instead, as you gently and slowly begin to step back, you must allow your physical exit to be incredibly smooth, deliberate, and controlled. As your torsos separate, you do not immediately break contact. You let the physical connection fade out like a beautiful piece of music. Let one of your hands glide with mesmerizing slowness down the outside of her arm, maintaining a soft, deliberate trail of warmth against her skin. Alternatively, you can allow your fingertips to execute a faint, feather light brush against the very back of her neck, right at the hairline as you part. The nape of the neck is one of the most evolutionarily vulnerable, nerve rich areas on the entire human body. When you make a respectful yet incredibly confident and fleeting contact right there as you pull away, you send a massive jolt of electricity straight to her subconscious mind. It leaves behind a literal sensory echo, a ghost like phantom sensation on your skin that lingers long after your hand is gone. Because human psychology hates an unfinished loop, her brain will spend the next several hours instinctively trying to rewind that exact physical moment over and over again in her head, desperate to feel that precise trail of warmth a second time. You have essentially left a permanent psychic fingerprint on her mind, making it physically impossible for her to forget how it felt to be in your presence. When you look at the big picture, the gap between a completely average, unnoticeable man and an utterly irresistible one is never found in loud, flashy behaviors or rehearsed pickup lines. It is built entirely in these quiet, millimeter perfect physical details that speak directly to her biological instincts. Women do not fall for words, they fall for how a man's presence makes them feel on a subconscious level. You now possess the exact psychological blueprint required to transform a completely mundane, everyday greeting into a high stakes key that unlocks deep, primal attraction. This is real psychological leverage, which means you must use this knowledge with absolute respect, unshakable confidence, and only when you have a genuine interest in the woman standing in front of you. If this deep dive completely changes the way you view your future interactions and opens your eyes to the invisible world of nonverbal communication, make sure to smash that like button right now to show your support. Don't leave your social success up to random luck or guesswork. Hit the subscribe button to join explanations and ensure you never miss our upcoming masterclasses on how to master the unspoken language of human attraction.